is the two pushy dames again.
We're back. You can't get enough of us, can you? I know you're going to keep logging in and listening to us because we're out of our freaking minds.
It's Leanne Susie.
And Kathy Gallo, the early childhood ladies who are trying to make a difference in this world of kids having too much academics pushed down on them.
And again, the pushy is actual passion that we like to talk about. So that's where the pushy comes from. You say that
all the time, but I'm kind of pushy.
That's true, you are.
I am a little pushy. And I say that pridefully, so,
There you go. So our topic today is...
Our topic today are those classroom behavior charts that you probably remember them from when you were kids even. I don't know how old you all are out there.
Or you maybe even have them in your classrooms.
Yeah, I bet
or your kids have them.
You might have them in your classrooms. It's things that might look like a red light, a green light, and a yellow light, and then all the kids' names are up there, and if they're really awesome, they're green, and if they're really mediocre, they're yellow, and if they really kind of suck, they're on red, right?
And you don't want your clothespin going to yellow because you might have anxiety and stress for the entire day, hoping you don't get down to that, red, which is crazy.
But they do.
They do.
I know we joke, but they do. Kids have anxiety over these
I have a relative who came home one day, a young relative, I'll say, and was freaked out because, she got on a yellow that day. What is going on? Why are we doing that to kids?
I think somebody had a good idea that it was better than like sending them to the principal or we can't spank kids anymore, so nobody's going to do that. And I'm joking about that. Please don't spank your kids.
No, I think it's definitely it's a control thing for teachers more than anything. It's like, I need some control, and this chart is going to scare the bejeebies out of kids, so I'm going to have this chart because this kid will stop behaving that way if I use the chart.
Yeah.
But really, it is not good practice, especially for young children.
It came out of the behavior modification world where special education teachers who were working with disabled and learning disabled kids and children who really struggled with learning, they used behavior modification, and many still do for kids who are on the autism spectrum and so forth.
And it works for them.
It's abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
It works for kids who need it. But it doesn't work for a whole classroom. It's contrary to what you think. So behavior modification, it might work if you're toilet training somebody and you put little stars in the bathroom every time they pee in the toilet.
Pee in the potty.
Yeah, aim at the Cheerio, honey.
Yeah, exactly. That works.
But think about what, when I was a kid, we kind of all knew who was in the smart reading group because we were the bluebirds.
Oh, listen to you. We were the bluebirds.
Yeah.
Oh, were you, Kathy? You were a bluebird.
I can read. And I didn't go to kindergarten. And
That's right.
I didn't go to preschool.
We know that from our first podcast.
I was still a bluebird in first grade, mind you.
Oh, and you didn't go to kindergarten or
didn't
preschool.
Do it. And then I felt bad because one of my friends was a crow.
Oh, a crow? What an ass.
Exactly. We were 6.
I know.
And we knew that bluebirds were better than crows.
Of course.
And the bluebirds could read. And we didn't need help.
How is that okay? No, really, how is that? I remember we had on the wall on a bulletin board, 1 month it was sailboats, another month it was candy canes, and whenever you did well on a test, so if you got over an 80 on a test, you got a star on your candy cane or sailboat or whatever it was.
And everybody could see all the candy canes.
Oh, it's right there. It was on the bulletin board, so everyone could see how many stars you had.
Including everybody's parent,
everybody,
teachers,
anyone,
the
custodian,
the janitor.
everyone,
yeah.
So I remember having strep throat and being out for the week, and so I had no stars that week. I had, I think, 2 stars.
God,
and I knew how Joey felt, let me tell you, because I was looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, I literally remember having like anxiety and panic because it was a sailboat. My sailboat had hardly any stars and everyone else had all these stars and me and Joey, basically.
But Joey didn't have strep throat.
No, Joey was there all week, trust me. But why is that okay that everyone knew that this is what, like, you're not doing well? Like, it's just a blatant way of saying you suck. As far as I'm concerned.
How did you feel?
I felt like a loser. I felt like I was just stupid. It was awful. It was really,
bet you
really
wanted
awful.
to rip that sailboat right off the wall.
I wanted to rip it off and get rid of it. Just rip. I mean, it's just
you guys
not okay.
can't see Leanne right now, but she's really
I remember.
fired up here.
I was
she's
so
mad
about my sailboat. But that's not okay. Like, kids should not. We should make kids feel comfortable when they're in that environment. And when you're not feeling comfortable, your behavior is going to get worse.
So I have an idea.
Yeah.
Let's go into work.
Yeah.
And let's put up a big chart and let's post everybody's weight.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's post everybody's weight.
Mine
from the
won't
entire
be up
college
before that happens.
So we're going to post everybody's weight.
Yeah.
And we'll have it there forever. How shameful is that? But
It's
we
not
do that
okay.
to kids all the time.
We do it all the time. And it's a control, it's a control thing. You know, even at Weight Watchers, if you go there and sign in, you do your weight, it's kind of private. They kind of keep it private, right?
It is private. Unless you
exactly.
I actually remember I'm going off topic, here we go. But we got weighed at school. I went to parochial school.
Boy.
And we got weighed every year. And I remember when I was in 5th grade, I weighed 88. And when I was in 6th grade, I weighed 101. And I was the only kid in the hundreds.
Yeah.
And they yell out your score.
To write it down, right?
It's private. And then they're like, 101. Yep, Kathy, 101.
Yeah.
It's humiliating.
It's humiliating, and talk about body shaming. But anyway, it is off topic. But imagine having your weight. What about in school? Imagine now, as we teach adults, imagine we were talking about this.
Yeah, let's post everybody's grades, right?
And throw it on a PowerPoint.
Yeah, here we go. Watch the PowerPoint. Look at, you can see all the smart students here.
Right.
I said smart again. I know you people who aren't in Boston like when we say smart. So we'll try to
we're
that into
all
every
wicked
podcast.
smart here.
Yeah, we're wicked smart, all right.
Yeah.
But this is what happens when we think it's okay and we think it works, and sometimes it does work, so you say, I'll keep doing that. But you need to really think about everybody. If you were a crow, or you were Joey, or poor Leanne the week she had strep throat, or you don't want people to see your inadequacies or your ineptitude. You want them to see
you're struggling, right?
Yeah. Why would we put struggles out there?
Yeah. Let's not. Let's think about different ways to promote positive behavior instead of using those silly.
Totally agree.
Charts and things like that.
I do. I have a family friend who lived through behavior charts when he was in kindergarten all the way through 5th grade. And they actually moved out of state because he was always a yellow and red kind of kid. Mm-hmm. And it was mainly because, if you heard our first podcast, he didn't get to go outside and run around enough. He was misdiagnosed on meds, and he was kind of pegged as the kid who was on red. And his mother got so upset about it every day. She'd pick him up from school, and you know what she's going to say. Yeah. What did she say to him, Leanne?
What color were you on today?
Exactly.
What color were you? Yeah.
And the kid just wanted to be on green once in a while. And I think it was a power thing with the teacher. Let's just move him along here,
Right.
And it's like, I didn't blame his family when they decided to sell and move and kind of have a fresh start for him, because he was pegged for.
And people might say, well, teachers need to do something, and there are things you can do. You can hire us for training, and we'll help you with that.
There you go.
Or you can think about it a little differently, because I know that teachers struggle, and if that is something that's helping you as a teacher, I get it. But really and truly, it's humiliating to the kid, and you don't want to do that.
Maybe focus on kindness.
Yeah.
Focus on friendship.
So when a child does something good, get them it's positive. Give them a star for doing something positive, especially that Joey kid. Look at Joey, and Joey did something good, or you saw him stop or help someone pick something up. Get Joey a star. Give him a star. Celebrate him.
I have to tell you, when I was first doing my student teaching, there was a little boy in my class, and I'll call him Charlie, and I was student teaching, and this kid was the kid that I would be like, are you kidding me? What am I doing going into this field? He's crazy. I didn't know what to do. I was 19. And the teacher would tell him to stay after every day. And she'd say, Charlie, wait for me after school. So I'm sitting there thinking, good, she's going to, yell at him or tell him he was misbehaving or whatever she was going to do, but it wouldn't be good. And one day I stayed too. And my I'll say naive, but I was really pretty stupid mind at the time. I'm like, good, what's going to happen? Well, doesn't my cooperating teacher that I worked under come up and give him a cookie? So I'm like, what are you giving him a cookie for? And I'm sure those of you out in Listenerville know the answer to this already, but I didn't when I was 19. And she said, he's the one who needs it the most. Mm-hmm. And he did need a cookie, because that kid didn't have a whole lot going for him. Right. And he wasn't going to make it through. In fact, I've seen him in the police logs since that time. Yeah. It's sad.
It is super
sad. But
sad.
that one teacher made a difference for him by giving him a cookie instead of putting his name on red or taking his stars away or things like that. And I think
when you told the story to me before, you mentioned that at the end of the day, she said, let's have a great day tomorrow.
Yep.
So he left feeling good. Even if he had a shitty day, he left feeling good.
Yep.
And again, this is something we really need to pay attention to, because we don't want kids leaving our classroom at the end of the day or our program feeling like crap.
And, I hate to say it, but I'd love to see some data on these poor, struggling, emotionally distraught kids who become high schoolers and adults who shoot places up.
Right.
Or commit suicide.
I know.
Or these other things that happen.
Super sad.
I don't want to be like, dun, 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 doom and gloom. But if you start giving kids a poor self-esteem when they're in preschool,
yes,
what's going to happen later on?
I know. And we really do need to boost people's self-esteem, kids' self-esteem, and it's kindness goes a lot farther.
Absolutely.
Kindness is important. We need to pay attention to kindness and being kind to children. And I'll tell you right now, it goes back and forth. You take 3 steps forward, 2 steps backwards sometimes with those kids, but those are the kids that need it the most. And we need to think of that. I had a student in my class working with a child, and she'd come in and she'd say, oh, look at this scratch I have on my face is from him. Oh, this is from him, this bruise, and we all tried to work with her and how to work with this child. And
so the child was hurting the adult.
The child was hurting the teacher.
Yeah.
And, everyone was losing their patience and said the other teachers, as soon as he walked in, were like, oh, he's here today. And I kept encouraging
those
her.
kids are always there.
Always
They're
there.
Never absent. That's another one of our trainings.
I kept encouraging her to be positive with him. And she was. And she said he was actually kind to her at times and nice to her, and they got along well, but she had her moments. But one day she came in and she told us all that his mother had died of an overdose. And we all...
Well, there you go.
The hair stands on your arms and you're like, oh no, you're kidding me. No, his mom died of an overdose. And I just wanted to point out to all my students, guess what? Maybe that's why his behavior was the way it was.
So all this time he was living amongst
He was living in trauma, daily trauma, I'm sure.
Holy moly.
And...
and that happens more than we know.
Oh, absolutely.
And it happens everywhere in every socioeconomic
And we don't know that the mom
class.
is doing this or the dad, or something's happening
Absolutely.
at home. And we tend to think that it's just the child's behavior. And really, a lot of it is related to trauma. And a lot of it is related to what they're dealing with. So, we need to step back and pay attention to that. And it was interesting because she came back and said, oh, it's so interesting now. All the teachers are so nice to him.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Because guess
what? And he would have been on red on the behavior chart the whole month before.
Well, because they all felt terrible that his mother died. But guess what? We should have been being nice to him a long time ago, not just because his mother died, like this teacher was. Yeah. And she had ended up having a nice relationship with him. He ended up, just so everyone knows, ended up doing much better. He lived with his dad and his family, so it was much better at the end. But these are the kids that we were missing. Like, every day there's something horrible happening in their lives and we don't even know or see it or get it.
And we're too busy saying you didn't sit still for story time, so I'm going to put you on yellow.
Yeah. Guys, think about this.
I read something recently, and you guys probably all read it because it was probably on Facebook, which is like my encyclopedia lately. Yeah. But it said, instead of considering children as attention-seeking, substitute the word connection. So they're connection-seeking rather than attention-seeking. And that makes a whole big difference. Yeah. That's hard to say because I had a glass of wine.
Too much wine.
But if you think of it, if you just put a different spin on it and you take a different perspective, they are seeking your attention, but why are they seeking it?
Yeah.
All behavior has a reason. Mm-hmm. All behavior has meaning, whether it's positive or negative.
Behavior is communication.
Absolutely, once again. And that's another training podcast keynote. We have
that's coming up. That's coming up. That's good.
Yeah, we'll be doing some stuff on that.
So think about those behavior charts, rethink about them if you are using them, and think about maybe getting rid of them and finding other ways and strategies to work with kids.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to say this. If you still have a behavior chart on your wall and you don't believe us and you're still going to use it, send us your weight, your name, and your height and your weight.
And we'll post it on our website.
On our social media.
All our social media,
I think that's perfect.
Yes, do that. Yes.
Awesome.
So, actually, also take measurements. We want to know your waist measurements, your bust measurements, and your thigh measurements, too.
And how often you have intimate relations with your partner.
Yes.
What kind of car you drive.
Yeah, that's all important.
How much money you make. Whether you gamble or not.
Yes, please do.
And how much ice cream you eat in one sitting. How's that?
I know how much Kathy eats, by the way.
Ice cream's not really my thing,
I know, but
that's okay.
Okay, so this podcast was brought to you by Rosé. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Again, you can see us at our Facebook page, Two Pushy Dames. Our Twitter is, again, Two Pushy Dames.
And imagine our Instagram is Two Pushy Dames.
And our website is twopushydames.com. Okay, thanks, everybody.
And you know what?
Yep.
I'm going to put one more thing out there.
Okay. Of course you are.
If you don't want your weight posted for all to see, no, I'm giving you crap. Email us if you want to.
Yeah.
It's twopushydames@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And we'd like to hear from you. If there's things you want to hear about, if there's podcasts you want to hear about, let us know. Or write to us through our social media channels, and we'd be happy to do what you want us to do.
Yeah. Thanks.
Have a great day.
Bye,
or
guys.
Night or whatever.